But moving on maybe to more unrecognisable names, Toby, we wanted to spend some time this week talking about some young players who are coming through at Borussia Dortmund. Now, Dortmund are known for buying young players, Toby, developing them, usually English players or French players, and then selling them off to Real Madrid or Manchester United. They have two interesting talents in two Italian players in Samuel Inácio and Luca Reggiani. One, of course, a winger who actually scored at the weekend, or a second striker, in their game against Frankfurt, and then Reggiani, apologies, as a central defender. Not German, obviously. I don't think they were born and raised in Dortmund, but they have came through the club's academies and have kind of started elbowing their way into Nico Kovač's team. And we wanted to spend some time talking about them because this is an interesting part of how our market values work. How do we give market values to young players who haven't played many games, but obviously have a huge amount of potential and promise at big clubs like Dortmund?
Yeah, I think these both players are good examples for being brave with young talents, because we all know Dortmund is a club who develops talents, and the history showed us. And now we see some 80-year-old players who came just to the starting lineup from Dortmund. So we can say, okay, these are big talents, and the steps are higher for BVB players, for example, or talents than maybe for Heidenheim talents, for example. So also we see with the first market value, when you are going through a Dortmund team or a team who can be compared like that in other leagues, then the steps are bigger for these talents. So two exciting players. I think for both it's the best situation that were raised in Germany football-wise, because in Italy, I don't think they would play right now. So also for the Italian football, maybe it's good with some or two players are developed in Germany and not in Italy. So that could be a good sign for them. But yeah, as you said, Inácio scored his first goal this weekend. It's also a player who's good on dribbling, has a good creativity. So he's a good prospect. Also, Reggiani, very tall for a center back. His physicality look also very promising. So I think they can play a bigger role next season, and it's also a good way, and also at the German development way, that they now can be in the starting 11, as Dortmund already is secured on the second place in the Champions League. So it's time for them to shine now.
Yeah, and really interestingly, the context behind these two players, and for people who maybe don't follow Dortmund may not aware of this, but two big names leaving the club this season: Julian Brandt, an attacking midfielder, and of course Niklas Süle, a central defender. And Inácio is an attacking midfielder, and Reggiani is a central defender. So they've maybe kind of rose to prominence at perfect times for Dortmund, because those are two positions in Kovač's team that need to be filled next season. So, I'm not suggesting that Inácio can step in for Julian Brandt, suddenly become Dortmund's playmaker, but we should see more of both of these players next season, you would suspect.
Yeah, I would suspect that. And it's also the way German football fans watch their teams or want to see their teams, that they develop own talents. And yeah, it's the perfect chance for Dortmund to get them into the team now. And of course, they won't be in the starting lineup for the first, or we can suggest that they won't be in the starting lineup for the first game next season, but they will play a bigger role. And it's also like kind of the identity Dortmund lost in the last 2 or 3 years, that they lost, that they developed their own talent. So I think it's a good way to the glory days of talent development at Dortmund. So I think it's a good choice, and they both make a good impression on the first game. So yeah, let's see what they can show us in the next season.
Yeah, certainly two names to remember, shall we say, for next season. And then when they kind of blow up, you can say you found out here first at Transfermarkt.